Welcome to this video, and in this video we're going to talk about how to invest and how to capitalize off of this downturn in the market during this recession. And I'm going to give you the key recipe on how to make it, how to become rich from it. This is the strategy that I also use, and I'm not going to give you a clear roadmap or like you got to buy this one stock and it's going to make you rich, or buy Bitcoin or anything like that. Nope, that's not what I'm going to go over. I'm going to go over how the principle actually works, because a lot of my followers have been asking, how would you invest into this, downturn in the market? So first of all, what we got to do to become any sort of wealthy is we need to make sure that our debt payments, our credit card debt, isn't draining our bank account. So what do I mean by that? Well, one thing is that we should not invest when we have huge credit card debt and the credit card debt company or the credit card company is charging us 29% interest. So that would mean on a $10,000 balance, that's $3,000 a year. So the problem is that we should not invest if we have debt outstanding, because it is so hard to invest if you have that $3,000, yearly due, right? Even if you make minimum payments. So what do we got to do? We got to pay off high interest credit cards, because it's great if you have, $10,000 to invest, but you cannot make more than the 29%, right? So say you got $10,000 in credit credit and you get $10,000 to invest. And now my question is, can you get a better deal, or can you make more money than your credit card charges? And I think for most people in this market, it's not the case, because that would mean that you need to buy something or offer a service without your time that you could put into and make more than $3,000 with just sitting on your couch. And that is most likely not the case. If you know something, let me know in the comments below. But I hardly doubt it that you have an opportunity or something like it to make 29% off of your $10,000, because credit card companies do it. So that's what you got to do. You got to get rid of it. You got to get rid of that debt. So second of all is car loans, right? So if your car loan is 14%, you also got to find something that pays you more than 14%, right? So if you have a $10,000 balance, something like it, and you have to then check if 14%, you can get a better return. So how are you going to do that? So you're like, okay, I'm trying to dabble in investing. Where should I start? I got some seed capital. Where do I start? Well, do not give it to anybody online. When people tell you, oh, I'm going to give you a 10% return or something like it, run. Because unless it's in the stock market, they're going to make all the money. They're going to use your money to buy something, and then they're just going to try to pay you back, where they say past results are not indicators of future, blah, 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 blah. So if you are in a space where you have the money, you need to find a way how you can do it, because I feel like most people are all kind of like blaming or trying to, oh, let me just give John the money and let's have him invest it, because it's just if he loses it, then it wasn't my fault. And I don't think that that's a smart idea. I think that you should invest your own money and do something. And so now what can you do? Well, everybody has an expertise. And I truly heart that you watching, you have a certain expertise that I do not. Maybe you're a mechanic and you want to fix cars on the side, or fix lawnmowers, or do something, and you can make money off of that. You can flip cars, you can flip trash cans, you can open up a lawn care business on the side because you're passionate about it. And you can basically kind of run your own business and run a profit, right? And that's something that has to do with investing, right? So you can basically, and I'm not telling you to like start a business and get an LLC and do all that. No, you can just go on a Facebook marketplace or Craigslist at nighttime, when you're at home and you have an expertise, and you can probably find something that you can flip or buy for low, make some modifications to it, and sell it for a price, right? You can do that with clothes, you can do that with tools, you can do that with lawnmower equipment, you can do that with cars, you can do that with trailers, you can do that with RVs, you can do that with basically anything. You just gotta find the deal and then kind of move from there. You gotta figure out what your subject matter expert at, what you know the price is, and then go out and kind of do it and and make a profit, right? So that also comes with risk though. So when you're starting off, you might not be in a place where you're the first one or two are going to be that profitable, right? And I've seen it with a family friend of mine when he did flipped cars. Some of them went great, some of them really didn't went that great because the demand wasn't out there. So flipping cars is harder, higher barriers to entry, higher you need some more capital to get into it, depending on what kind of cars you buy, but you can drive them, you can have fun with them, and then you sell them. And a friend of mine actually did that, and he did fairly well at it, and that allowed him to drive cars all the time that he wanted. And if you do not have any experience, some people say, I really don't know what to do. Well, then you should probably invest in the stock market and either let Fidelity invest, or you do it and you buy some, index funds or whatnot that are pretty dang safe. Because the last thing I want you guys to do is invest and lose it. Because there's many people out there that invest their money and then they lose it, literally everything. And that is the worst thing that you can do in a recession, is to lose a bunch of your capital, because fortunes are made during recessions, right? So if you're trying to, succeed and try to better your life and invest, you gotta be ready to pounce. You need a little cash on the sidelines, like Warren Buffett does. Warren Buffett is sitting on so much money, and he's saying, no, everything's too overvalued. I'm waiting till prices are going to come down, and then I'm a bounce. And people told him, oh, you're sitting on the sideline. He lost his touch. But Warren Buffett knows so much that he knows something, right? Or he wouldn't sit on that much money. So that's what I want you guys to do also, is sit on money, and it never ever hurts if you have cash. So if you have cash in the bank, that's never ever a bad thing. And people say, oh, I gotta invest. And then they get like the FOMO, they hype in, or they try to they try to do what everybody else does. Then it's probably too late. If your barber tells you about it and the taxi cab driver, it's too late to jump in. And that's what, happened to Bitcoin when it was at 68 and it dropped down. That's where it went like mainstream, right? And everybody kind of jumped in. Now it's back up, thank God. But most people need to be super aware of where the market trends are and how to basically hedge against the downturn in the market or something else, right? Because then if you cannot do that, you're in the same spot as these people that bought EVs and losing their asses now, that bought a Tesla Plaid or something for 130,000, and now you can buy one for 70, 80, just 50,000 wiped out, and you have now negative equity. So you got to be really cautious with your money. And I'd rather you guys pass up on some deals and not take them because they might turn out to be sour down the road, than taking it and turn sour. Because nothing hurts as much as when you lose your own money. It's one thing when you lose investors' money. If you lose a bank's money, that doesn't hurt you too much, because our mortgage is upside down, I'll just stick to it. But if you do one or two deals that you can't get out of because negative equity situation, it's gonna really hurt. So you need to be super aware of what you're buying and what price. And even in real estate, they'll tell you that money's made by the purchase, not by the sale. So what does that mean? If you buy a lawnmower or a car or a house, anything, for example, and you bought it over value. So you bought, the value is 1,000 and you bought it for 2. and then you try to, put in some work, clean it up, and that's going to cost you, even if you do it, that's going to cost you time, and that needs to be accounted for too. So I'm going to say it's going to cost you about $500 of your own time, because if you're not taking that into consideration, what I see a lot of people not do, then I see that, you're like, oh, I made $100, off of this one flip. I bought a car for 1,000 and I sold it for 1,100. Congratulations. You could have worked at your day job and you could have put in some extra hours, got double pay or something else, and you would have made more money with less risk, right? So you got to be making some more cash, right? So if you buy for 1,000 or 2,000, you got to make, and you have some time into it, you drive there, the miles got to be accounted for and all that to make sure that you actually make a profit. Because if you consider in miles times, and then comes out you were dabbling with it for 10 hours and you just sold, you bought it for $2,000 and you sold it for 2,200, that's, less than $20 an hour. So you could have just, with none of your own risk, you could have worked at a pizza delivery place, and they would have paid you for miles. They would have paid you for, they would have paid you for your time, and you just stamp in, and you do that, and you're done. But you want to succeed, right? So you got to be hyper aware of that you buy it at the right price. So now you got to go on Facebook and message people and tell them like, yo, this is only worth, it's listed for $2,000, but I'm only going to pay you, $1,000 cash in hand with all that. And once you start doing that, you can then progress, right? You do bigger deals, you do better deals, you become a subject matter expert, right? So you're going to start becoming really, really knowledgeable of things that, you're flipping, you're making money, you're investing, right? And people say, oh, you got to invest into real estate. No, that's not your fortune, don't do it. You don't need to invest in stocks or bonds or anything else. You can invest in whatever you're good at. Buy you can buy a bunch of things and flip it, right? You can buy plants, you can grow plants, you can actually create an Etsy shop and, sell stuff like that. And it's like the possibilities are endless. And I'm sick and tired of these gurus online telling you, real estate's the way to go. You really got to get into real estate. You really got to buy stocks or buy Bitcoin and all that. If you don't know nothing about it, do not get into it. Because if you buy like I said, the lawnmower or the car, and you lose $1,000, you bought it for 2,000 or 3,000, and you lose 1,000. That's a huge percentage that you lost. So now let's say you go in and you buy a house, and you don't know what you're buying. So all of a sudden, you lose the same amount of percentage from that house deal as you did with the lawnmower, because there were maintenance issues, there were structural issues, and you're trying to flip it, and the market is in a downturn, so each month your house is worth less, and so you're not profitable. And now you're saying, but so many other people do. Yeah, and flippers get destroyed, right? So you got to be really, really aware of what you're doing. And when people tell you, gotta get rental units, you gotta really, really get a bunch of rental units and you'll be set for life. Well, there's downturns in the market where rentals don't cash flow. High interest rates, high property taxes, and your rental doesn't cash flow and you're stuck. So don't be sad that people are telling you online, come, become a house flipper, buy Section 8 properties. That's a horrible, horrible thing to tell people if they have never done it. So you want to get in with low stakes to see if it works out. And if that does work out, then you progress. You kind of move up the ladder, you do bigger and better deals. And maybe this side business of yours might become your main business because you're so good at it. And it's absolutely crazy when you're like, I gotta invest with this one guy, with the guy with the jet, and he promises 15% returns. Well, there's been lawsuits that saying that he does not provide 15% returns on investments. And with rental properties, it's hard to make that kind of money. 15% rate on return on your money, right? So now what are you gonna do with your money, right? And I do not have a clear answer on what you should do because you are the one with the skills. You're the one that has the knowledge, and you're the one that can do it. If you're telling me, I just don't have skills to make it, and I was like, so what do you do? Oh, I'm a cook, and start a catering company. Say you don't want to work on weekends or something, and or like Saturdays, and do your catering company and sell, um you know and start selling that. There's a huge need for catering companies. You get hired for parties and all that, and the cost for to start a catering company isn't that much as it would be of you basically dabbling in something that you don't know about, because you know how to do it. You know how to cook. There's probably people that love your cooking, but you also got to like it. You also need to have a passion for it. If you don't want to be cooking because you hate it, it's probably not the best to start a business in that area that you do not like doing, right? But assuming you like it, you start all kinds of things like that. And if you want to, you know, if you want help or anything like it, and you watch for so long now, you should join the community. I have the link in the bio of Allison's, my wife's thing. And it's like 20 or 40 bucks, depending on when this goes live, a month. And we help, entrepreneurs with a community, how to help you do a podcast, how to help you grow your business on social media, and all kinds of things like that. And that's how you kind of become, wealthy, if you kind of put yourself into the mindset of other people, and surround yourself with other people that actually did it, and that aren't going to charge you thousands of dollars for them to teach you your knowledge. And when you have the community, and you actually have people actually watching it, and like giving you good answers for, hey, how do you grow your podcast? And I feel like if it's for 40 bucks a month and you get like support where other people that also had podcasts and that social media, if you do want to start something like that, that's always a good thing. So back to investing, right? It's really, really hard to find investments that pay out. And when people tell you, oh, you gotta buy a course, and that course teaches you on how to sell that course to other people, that is not an investment. That is just one person making money, and then everybody else is kind of, just sitting on the sidelines and are like, well, why would I buy that course? And to sell a course now is so bloody difficult, because you're in a spot where there's a bunch of other influencers try to sell also courses with a bigger audience. And I see that a lot with Allison, where they say, hey, do you want to promote my course? Do you want to promote my book? Do you want to do this? And it's like, no, in order for Allison with 500,000 followers on TikTok to promote something, it's going to cost you $5,000. And we don't even know if that's going to resonate into any sales, because you need to boost it and do all kinds of crazy things to that after you've paid her that money to put her face behind it. So find something that you're really, really good at and passionate about, and that people will start noticing that you're really, really passionate about it. And then all of a sudden it will move by itself. Your business will take off because you're passionate. And there's a bunch of people out there that try to run a business that are not passionate about it. And when passion and hard work fuse together, it creates a winnable and unbreakable bond where it's just keep on going. It's just gonna keep on rolling, and it's gonna snowball into bigger and better things. But you gotta have the layers have to be done. You have to have your high interest debt paid off. You gotta do a few other things, because if you cannot pay off your debt and says, I can make 30% more on, than the bank gives me, then you should start a business and crowdfund and do something and pay your investors back 20%. And we'll see how long that's going to go before it goes belly up. So let me know what you think about all this. I'm about done with my walk. This was a longer one. Let me know if you want any other topics that I should cover. Drop them in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next video.